Hi guys, welcome back to Cool Movie Ratings, and today we're doing the Creed 3 review. Finally ending our reviews off with Creed 3, the new Rocky movie, and this was the first ever Rocky/Creed movie that I got to see in the theater. And Rocky's not even in it, so I really shouldn't say Rocky/Creed. At this point, it's just Creed. And to my shock, this movie was absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna say right off the bat, this might be because I saw it in the theater. I liked it more than the second and first one, and I really liked the first and second one to the point where these are right next to my favorite Rocky movies in the Rocky ranking. And I'll probably do a ranking of the Creed and Rocky movies, so expect that. But this will definitely end up on the higher part because I absolutely love this movie. And like I said, I've never seen any of the other ones in the theater, so I might be a little bit biased because just seeing it in the theater is just a way better experience. Creed 3 was so amazing. I think that Michael B. Jordan solidifies himself as not only a great director, but also an amazing actor. And I absolutely loved where they took this movie because they really did a good job at diverging it from Rocky. I'm glad that he wasn't mentioned as much because then I would probably be missing him, even though in the Creed 2 review I did say that I think Rocky was kind of pointless. He's only mentioned once in the entire movie, I think. There's one photograph and then one mentioned by name. Someone's like, the Apollo versus Rocky fight, and they say that's a Creed. And there's one other mention at the end that's so amazing because it does kind of hurt that they never played the Rocky theme because I wanted to hear that theme in a theater. But I'll probably be able to see one of these movies in like a rerun in a few years. But at the end you get to hear the final bell, which is one of the greatest end themes. Ba 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 ba. If you've seen the Rocky movies, you know what it is. But it was super amazing to see that after Creed's triumphant. But I bet I should go back and talk about the movie more at the beginning because in this one you get a great villain. And I can't even remember his name right now. I gotta probably do some research before these reviews because I feel like every review I forget one person's name. Because I saw this movie yesterday, so I'm not fully fresh on it yet. Or I'm not fully fresh on it right now as I'm talking. But, Dame, that's his name. Dame is his name. And, I really thought it was kind of weird, but kind of fit where, Creed, he has like his whole backstory that was never mentioned. Where he started beating this guy who abused him when he was a kid, and this Dame guy, he was with him, and he pulled a gun, and Dame didn't get away, and Creed got away, so Dame got put in jail for like 20 years, and they were both boxers before, and Dame always wanted to be the main fighter, and he wanted Creed to be like by his side, and so now that Creed's like the world heavyweight champion, he feels jealous, and so he gets into this giant Dame without really Creed knowing for the first part. He like makes his whole plan you can kinda see it. And his plan basically is to someone sabotages Victor Drago, the villain of the second movie. He's actually really great in this movie. He's not a villain at all. He kinda goes Rocky 3 where Apollo Creed ends up helping Rocky. It kind of goes that route. And he sabotages him. And at this point, Creed's like a coach, I think, or a trainer. I don't really know what you would say for that. And then he has to find someone else. So he's like, okay, let me give my friend a shot. And that was his whole plan. So Dame hires this guy to, we find it out later, to basically take out Victor Drago out of the fight. And then Dame gets put in the position. He wins, destroys the other guy, and then he's the heavyweight champion of the world. And he's a pretty good villain. And I think that Creed's journey in this movie, I think that this is Michael B. Jordan's best performance because you get stuff in here like his mom, or this is one thing me and my dad were discussing. Is it Creed's actual mom? I don't think so. Or is it the wife? Is it the lady that married Apollo? It made it sound like it was the lady who married Apollo. And, like, she's in Rocky 4. She's, like, they show her next to Victor, or Ivan Drago's wife at, the final match. Or not the final match, but Apollo's final match. And, I think that that's who it's supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be his real mom. But I think it's supposed to be Apollo's wife. And click up in the comments down below. But me and my dad think that. But she passes away in this movie. And that's one of the saddest scenes of the Rocky movies because it's up there with like Mickey dying. And I think Mickey dying is probably the worst for me. I always thought Apollo was, but I think Mickey's is played way better and way more dramatically, where the music, everything's quiet and there's just this like little tune in the background. Meanwhile, um Apollo's Creed's death is a little bit more like, it's not as like impactful. Not to say it's bad, and I think the director's cut did do that better. If I remember, the director's cut's been a year and a half now, but I think that Creed 3 does great with relationships between characters. I know that's kind of like a weird thing to say. I probably should describe that a little bit better, but when Creed's mom dies, you obviously see an effect on him. And there's one scene in the movie where Creed's mom is talking and she thinks she's basically on the verge of death, and she thinks she's talking to Apollo and she's saying how good Adonis is, and man, that was a really sad scene, and such great acting from Phylicia Rashad, I think is her name, and Michael B. Jordan. And that was a terribly sad scene. And the next thing, you see her grave and that music. Very great, greatly directed scene between the final moments of his mom and Adonis Creed. And yeah. And then in this movie, Bianca, I feel like she's going the Adrian route where she's kind of sidelined a little bit. She's still in this movie a lot. And I don't even think she's sidelined as hard as Adrian was for like Rocky 3 and Rocky like 4. And basically in this movie, there's one part that I think either is leading to a sequel or just kind of went nowhere. Their daughter, who's now, there must be a big jump in time because the daughter was like newborn in Creed 2. Now she's like probably 7 or 6 in this movie. So there was probably a 6 or 7 year difference in between movies, and that kind of makes sense, honestly. But basically she gets picked on it, or she gets bullied at school, she punches back, she gets in trouble, but then Adonis points out it's the right thing to kind of fight back, and so they have that debate, and then she gets kind of trained a little bit as a fighter, and at the end, they're in the ring boxing, and it looks like that she wants to become a boxer, possibly. So I thought that was going to lead somewhere to the movie where she like stands up for herself, kind of like Rocky 5 actually, and they just didn't really go anywhere with that. So my dad's guessing that probably a Creed 4, and I really hope there's a Creed 4 with the same same cast. And I guess the one final thing I should talk about in this review is Rocky. I love Rocky. He's probably a top 3 character of all time for me. And this franchise is definitely top 3 for me now. But it was perfect for him not to be here because he would not really have a purpose. I feel like he could be there, but like Creed 2, I feel like he would probably kind of be there. Just like be in the background. And I feel like he really wouldn't have a purpose. So I think they did a really good job. They could have mentioned where he was at because it was really weird. Like the one time they mentioned Rocky by name, they made it seem like they'd never really talked to each other. So I wonder if now they're trying to retcon him and Rocky, like Rocky training him, which I really hope they're not trying to do because I still loved Rocky in the first Creed, and I think he's still great in the second one. And I just really hope that they find a good solution between Sylvester Stallone and Erwin Winkler, but they can come together and they can make Creed 4, and this is what I want to see. I don't even need to see, I want to see Rocky probably on the sideline with Creed, but I want to see him and his son do stuff. And I know that could be a whole side plot. Oh, and I just want to see more Rocky with his son because that was like great in Rocky Balboa, great in Rocky 5, and that's what Creed 2 set up, and you kind of expected more of that in Creed 3, but obviously because of the differences between Sylvester Stallone and Erwin Winkler, that couldn't happen. And I really hope that they resolve their issues because in my opinion, I think that Sylvester Stallone's probably in the right because he created these characters, and now they're trying to spit him off, and he doesn't want that. And obviously, he sold it to them, so it's their choice. But I really wish that they would understand his thoughts and consider them. But Creed 3, I think, was an amazing movie. I think this might have been benefited from seeing in IMAX. That might have been a really good movie to see in IMAX. I just saw it in regular theater, which was still amazing. So definitely go see this in theaters. And I'm going to give this movie probably a 9.5 out of 10. Kind of insane, but I loved it. Best movie of the year for me. I've seen a lot of weird movies this year. Out of Cocaine Bear, Megan, and Knock at the Cabin, this is my favorite movie this year. And I really hope it ends up my top 5 because I love this movie. And this is the movie where Creed becomes its own thing, disassociated from Rocky. I love they can still have those little Rocky ties, but it's like its own movie. So I absolutely love Creed 3. Definitely go and see it. Even if you're disappointed Sylvester Stallone is not going to be here, you're still going to absolutely enjoy it because it is just a great movie. Thank you guys so much for watching this cool movie ratings review, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.